What is up, everyone? My name is Joseph, and welcome to episode number 2 of From Hack to Stacked, the incredibly creative, unique, and original idea of me playing an Ironman account and recording the progress. I don't think this has ever been done before, so if you need an explanation of what this series is, I'll leave a link to the playlist in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, so you can go back to episode 1 and kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. But just to summarize, it's pretty much just an Ironman series starting from scratch, so an Ironman rebuild series starting from scratch based on my accounts being hacked and what it would have been like if I had lost my entire bank. That's pretty much it. But these videos are kind of just a summary of my streams. I stream over on twitch.tv/Wylor Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from about 8 p.m. EST until 11-ish. And I highly suggest heading on over and giving it a follow if you enjoy my videos. I mean, if you enjoy my videos, you'll probably enjoy the streams. They're basically the same thing, just 3 hours longer, and it involves a lot more rambling. Now, to me, that sounds interesting, but I'm a narcissistic fuck and love to hear myself talk, so I might be a little bit biased, but if you do enjoy my content, you'll probably have a good time on the streams. Again, I do stream over on twitch.tv/Wylor. If you're watching this video when it goes live, I'll probably actually be live. I'm planning on uploading this right before I go live on Twitch, so head on over there, chill out for a few hours, and we'll have a grand old time. But if you're not interested in that, then enough of the self-promotion. Let's just jump right into the progress on day number 4, since the last video kind of stopped at day 3, and my limited education level tells me that 4 comes after 3. Let's just get started on day number 4 in the From Hacked to Stacked series. So since I stream 3 days of progress a week, and this is the second week of this account, we start off on day number 4. Now, we were able to get quite a decent starting setup at the end of last week, so we had the wheels in motion to be getting a decent combat setup, so we can start Slayer in the near future, but we were missing one vital piece, and that is the Dragon Defender. So I started off day 4 going for the Dragon Defender. Now, all of my defenders, again, were dropped, so I did have to start back at bronze, and I did get about 1,200 tokens previously at the end of last week, so I was ready to just jump into the top floor of the Warriors Guild and start grinding out those defenders. Now, fortunately, after I got the bronze and iron defender, someone suggested I check the basement to see if I can just start getting the Dragon Defender, and luckily, it worked. So if you're interested or if you aren't sure, if you have unlocked the basement, so if you've previously shown a Rune Defender to the person down there and you lose your Rune Defender, you can just go back to the basement and get your Dragon Defender. And I'm so glad we decided to do this and found out about it, because if not, we would have wasted hours and hours of time trying to get the other defenders. As it stands, it took us almost the entire 3 hours of that stream just to get the Dragon Defender. We got it within, I think, the last 15 minutes of the stream. And yeah, 25 of the 3 hours, 25 minutes of those was spent getting the first 2, the bronze and the iron defender. But that's still like 2.5 hours we spent on just one defender. So I am glad that we decided to go down to the basement instead of just try to grind out all of them and then go to the basement. So again, just kind of a PSA. If you are in a position, whether it's PK or a hack, that you just don't have your defenders, then you can go just down to the basement if you've had Rune previously, and you can get it back. Just grind out a few Cyclops kills, and it saves quite a bit of time. So getting that Dragon Defender pretty much wrapped up the progress we were able to make on day 4 on Monday. However, we were able to get about 70k in alkables from the time we spent at Cyclops, so it's not terrible. At this point in the game, I'll take any GP or any profit that I can get, so getting 70k from that wasn't terrible. I mean, we did waste a lot of time. We didn't get a lot of levels except for, I think, 75 HP and 74 strength. But a little bit of money, especially at this point in the game, is going to go a long way. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty fulfilling day. We were able to get kind of our gear wrapped up. Our combat gear at this point is pretty solid. We have most of the gear that we need to start Slayer, except for like a fire cape and the barrows gloves. And speaking of barrows gloves, let's head on over to day 5, where we start probably the most unfun grind that I ever have to endure in this game. And spoiler alert, it's questing. Barrows gloves. They're incredibly helpful, but also a giant pain in the ass to get. Now, if you've known me for any length of time, you probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of quests. And the reason is that I've just done quests so many times. Now, I don't play RuneScape to be told what to do and to do quests and to go from place to place. That's not why I enjoy RuneScape. So when I have to do a quest for a second or a third time, it just gets very monotonous and grindy and not fun. Now, I will say that I do enjoy doing quests for the very first time, like when I did Dragon Slayer 2 on my main a few months back. I had a good time doing that, and it was kind of fun seeing something that was new and something I haven't seen before. However, when I have to go back and do that quest on my Ironman, I'm going to have much less of a good time. It'll be much less enjoyable for me. And it's mainly because I don't play this game for quests, and when I have to do quests multiple times, it's not entertaining for me. So forgive me if I'm a little bit negative towards the next giant group of quests I have to do in order to get the Barrows gloves, but that's where I'm coming from. That's my point of reference. So we did start at 125 quest points on the account with only iron gloves to our name on the Ironman account. So we had to start knocking out some of these prerequisites and just in general quest points in order to even get the Barrows gloves requirement. So I started off, and the first thing I wanted to get done was Desert Treasure, because I felt like that was one of the more annoying quests that I had to do, especially for an Ironman. So I wanted to start knocking down the prerequisites for that quest so we can start working on the Barrows gloves. So what I did on day 5 was the 3 quest prerequisites I needed for Desert Treasure, which was the Dig Site, the Tourist Trap, and Temple of Ikov. Now, these quests weren't too bad in and of themselves, but Temple of Ikov and getting 20 Limport roots really made me just remember how much I miss being able to use the Grand Exchange. And it was really just kind of the beginning of the ending, a foreshadowing even for what the next day had in store for us. But I will say that having to grind out RNG-based drops like that, probably one of my least favorite parts of an Ironman, and unfortunately that's one of the biggest parts of an Ironman. So the future of this account is going to be an adventure for me, to say the least. But we were able to get those 3 quests done, and then we wrapped up day 5 rather, just getting the last skill requirement we needed, which was to get 53 thieving, and I decided to do that on fruit stalls, since it was probably the fastest and least intense XP that I could do for a few levels. So that's where we wrapped up day number 5, and we moved on to day number 6, where my main goal was to start and finish Desert Treasure. If I didn't hate quests before, after day number 6, you better believe that I hated them. I could not stand them. And the main reason for this is 2 words: magic logs. Now, I had known about the magic log requirement for Desert Treasure previously when I was on this Ironman account before I dropped my bank. And to kind of supplement that, or to prepare for it, I did a little bit of Winter Todd to get those magic logs. However, an hour before Friday's stream, I decided to look up the quest requirements or the item requirements, and then just completely forgot that I had to get magic logs. Now, luckily, I have 73 wood cutting on my Ironman account, on this account. However, that still does mean we have to do a little bit of boosting. And I will tell you right now, I have the worst luck for boosts. I've spent hours trying to get a +5 boost before, and it's just not a good time. And even though it was only a +2 that we needed, we were cutting magic trees, and sometimes it can take a long time to actually get a log from a magic tree, especially at 75 or 76 wood cutting. So having to get 12 of them, I knew was going to be an actually huge process and probably take longer than the quest. And so I started the stream a little bit early with the intent to kind of get some of that stuff out of the way. However, what actually ended up happening was just so much worse than I could have imagined. And the first thing I wanted to do was get a rune axe. So I headed on over to the fairy ring that brings you to where the tree spirits are and killed them for about 20 minutes. Unfortunately, I was only able to get an adamant axe because I just felt like if I spent any longer trying to get a rune axe, it would have been a waste of time. But the percentages and the usefulness of an adamant and a rune axe are pretty much the same, so I decided that an adamant axe would be good enough. So what I had to do from here is actually start getting some boosts. And I have terrible luck with boosts in this game, so I didn't have high hopes. My one saving grace is that if you log out between 12 seconds of when you logged in or when you took the boost, you'll retain that boost level. Previously, it was if you world hopped or logged out every 60 seconds. Now it's like 12. So I knew that if I got a good boost, I could wood cut for approximately 10 to 11 seconds, and then I'd have to world hop. Unfortunately, with magic trees, that means that most of the time you're not going to get a magic log because 10 seconds at level 75 wood cutting is not long enough. Let me tell you that right now. So to start off, we got 10 spices. I felt like that would be enough. We had a 32% chance with a 3-dose stew to get a +2 boost. And I felt like with 10 spices, I think that's 12 actual stews. So we had a good chance of getting a good amount of +2, +3, or +4 boosts, or even +5. So I felt like 10 spices or 11 spices, however many I ended up getting, would have been enough. So after that, I went over to Sears Village or Catherby, right in that area, to cut the magic logs. And once I got the boost, hopped every 12 seconds, and it was so much slower than I expected. We hit the log out timer, or the world hop timer, whatever that is, where it just logs you out instead of hopping worlds twice. And then after that, I decided to just go get the rest of the item requirements and come back to this. At that time, we had 7 magic logs, so we still needed 5 more. So about 20 minutes later, after I'd gathered all the other supplies, came back, tried to get a few more boosts, and I think about 10 minutes later, we finally had all 12 magic logs. And all of that work took about an hour and a half total. So we had an hour and a half prep for a quest. Just let that sink in. 90-minute prep for the quest. But after we had all of the items, I finally was able to start the quest, and the quest wasn't too bad. The first boss went relatively smooth. I think it was the blood diamond that I got first. The ice diamond, or the place Camille, whatever diamond they have, was just absolutely terrible. And the main reason was that I just didn't have any herbs. It would have been completely fine if I had a few extra Harlanders or a few extra Renars in the bank, but I only had enough herbs to make 3 regular restores and 2 prayer potions. So when going to kill the trolls, I had to actually do multiple trips because I wanted to make sure that I had enough supplies when actually fighting the boss, when actually fighting Camille. So I had to take 2 trips just to kill the trolls. Then after those 2 trips, I had to go back, restore my stats, and go back one final time to kill the boss. In general, it really wasn't too difficult to kill the boss, but just getting to that point was kind of annoying, having to go back and forth so many times, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. And then I just continued to get the last 2 diamonds, the smoke diamond, and then I think the shadow diamond is what it's called. And we had finished Desert Treasure. Now, in total, I think this whole process took us about 5 hours, much longer than I had expected. But having Desert Treasure done was a huge accomplishment for me, because after looking at all the quests that I have to do in order to get Barrows gloves, this is really the most annoying one, or the most in-depth one that I thought I would have a problem with. Now, I do have to do Legends quest, and I think that's the only other relatively long one, but that quest really doesn't give me too many difficulties. I've done it enough times to know that it's not going to be too difficult for me. So I'm not too worried about that. So I was really happy to get Desert Treasure out of the way, and having Ancients opens up a lot of things for me. So that's how we wrapped up day number 6. And from here on, going forward from here, what the main goal will be for the next week or so is to just kind of quest and get a lot of these big quests. So get like one small favor out of the way, to get Legends quests out of the way, and get these big quests out of the way, so then we can slowly start working towards the 175 quest point requirement for the Barrows gloves. And really, that's where we're going to wrap up the video. We've gone through everything that I was able to get done this week, and I'm looking forward to next week. A few more quests out of the way, and we'll be able to actually start working on some fun things like Barrows, Fire Cape, Slayer, things like that. But one thing I wanted to mention before this video ends is I will be hitting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube soon, if not by the time this video goes live, if my analytics aren't lying to me. And that's a huge milestone for me. 10,000 was always something I never thought I would hit, and to be able to hit that is really cool. And I've had an idea, not as like a 10K video, but just as kind of like an extra series or an extra piece of content to put out. I've kind of wanted to start a new account when I hit 10K, since it's kind of a milestone. And originally, when I had this thought, I wasn't playing my Ironman account, so I really thought I was only going to be playing my main at that point, so adding on one extra account wouldn't have been too much work. But I do want to add on another account. I still want to go through with that plan. So I want to leave a poll in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, so click on that and vote. Which type of content would you enjoy to see more coming from me as an additional series? Maybe a little bit less frequent, but an additional series. Either a hardcore Ironman, an ultimate Ironman, a PvP account, so I'd have to build up and to actually PvP on this account, or something related to my main, so some more high level content. So vote on which of those you would like to see more, and I'm going to try to formulate a series based around one of those. And I kind of want to do most of these. I don't want to do a hardcore because fuck hardcore. Now that I say that, you're gonna vote for it, but trust me, it wouldn't be a long series if I did hardcore. But I've always wanted to do just something else. I've been doing my main and more or less my Ironman for a while, so being able to do a different piece of content might be a little interesting. Something I'm not normally super used to, which is why I'm kind of interested in the Ultimate Ironman and a little bit in the PvP style content, because it's something I've never done before. So if any of those interests you, go ahead and vote, and I'll see what I can do. Now, the series won't start for about another month because I am very busy in my actual life for the next month or so. But once that month or so is done, we'll be at a point on our Ironman account where we'll be able to AFK some stuff for some progress. So if we need to AFK a skill or something, we'll be able to stream this alternate account or this other account. And also my life will be a little less busy, so I'll be able to devote more time to the accounts that I'm able to play. So if any of those interests you, just leave a little vote, leave a little comment down below if you want something else, or you just want to support your vote and let your voice be heard. I read everything, assuming it's written at a 3rd grade reading level. So if you have something to say, leave it in the comments below. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Again, if you want to watch this progress live, head on over to twitch.tv/Wylor, and you'll be able to watch this live. Hey, give it a follow, even if it doesn't fit your schedule. Maybe one time you'll be up late or up early, and you'll be able to catch the stream and just hang out. I always have a great time just chilling out and talking to you guys. So if you do have any interest in watching me live, again, head on over to twitch.tv/Wylor and see if you can make it work. I'd love to see you guys there. But that is all I have for this video. Again, I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and I will see you next time.